Dandelion, you're a joy to my eyes. Dandelion, you're a joy to my eyes. Oh, your yellow and gold flies through the breeze. Far and wide you spread your seed.
From the mundane to the magic, and the humble to the harmonious, I'm now ready to share with the world the medicine that has inspired me to release old fears and patterns and realise my full potential, finding the full spectrum of peace and excitement and everything in between, and that it's available to me right now and in each and every moment as I walk my own unique path of wonderment in the world. This podcast will inspire, hopefully, not only my journey and my story, but also yours. Welcome to Dandelion Stories. I'm Emily Doe, sharing stories through this podcast and learning and growing as I go. Hello and welcome to Dandelion Stories. This is podcast number 5, and I have already now missed a deadline. It was bound to happen. I obviously set my own schedule. I work for myself, and August, which we are now coming to the end of, at the end of this week, has been an extremely odd month for time and connection. I have been on the road for the past 11 days in Pluto, which is my folding caravan, which I found on eBay just under 3 months ago. And it has been an absolute joy and magical experience so far to be the owner of a folding caravan. It wasn't even something I was aware was a thing until she popped up at the top of the listings back at the beginning of June, which is when I started on this journey with the podcast as well. So it's all been running very much alongside each other in a kind of magical, mysterious and wonderful way. And I intentionally wanted to spend a lot of time away, some time for myself, some time with my partner, but also with the kids this summer, and really just enjoy being on our free-spirited adventures around the country. And we certainly have done that. I just got back from Into the Wild Festival yesterday, and I landed on the driveway back in Bristol around about 5 p.m. and did intend to record the podcast and upload it yesterday evening so that I didn't miss my Monday deadline. But I also felt that it was really the final day of my mammoth holiday, and actually just rest and regroup and get some sleep. So that's what I did, and I am here first thing ready to record this podcast, which is all about remembrance. And it's something that I feel very called to talking about from my own experience, but also to pass on this message to other women. Go inwards and meditate on and remember what it was for you back when you were a child. Ask your heart, ask your inner child, what is it that brings you joy? And it was something that I really needed to do for myself back, probably getting on for a year and a half ago. I started to really think about this for myself, coming towards the end of my divorce and realizing that I had lost touch with myself. I had lost myself in the process of becoming an adult. I had lost myself in the process of becoming a mother. I had really allowed myself to give myself away. And I realized that was also due to fear of not being good enough and not realizing my dreams. So kind of giving up on them to stay safe. And in doing that, I stayed small. I wasn't really tending to my own needs. And I think that's really common for lots of women, particularly, especially during this period of their lives where they are becoming a mother. And it can happen for those women who aren't going down that path as well and aren't looking after small children regularly. But it is something that for me as a mother, I feel it was really easy for me to lose myself in what everybody else around me needed. I've got 2 daughters who are now 11 and 8, and yeah, they need a lot of time from you, for sure. They need a lot of time from you. But I did a lot of it myself on my own. And I think that's one thing that I realized during this time of remembering is that we're not meant to do this alone. We're not meant to. We're meant to have community around us. We're meant to have sisterhood. We're meant to have women around us of all ages and men as well. We really do need to support each other in this life. And I had become fairly closed off, actually. And so when I started to really think about what brings me joy, I remembered my love of singing. I've been quite vocal about this already, about my love for singing and how I went to do my training with Singing Mamas at the end of last year. And I really feel that experience was like a portal for me. It really opened up a doorway for me where I was able to realize just how lost I had become and how unhappy at times I had become, how there was a low level of depression. And my neurodivergence has been propping that up for a really, really long time, where I've just been shaming myself secretly, putting myself down secretly, telling myself that I wasn't good enough, that I was lazy, that I didn't have it together, that I was disorganized. There was all these stories running in the background, and I was putting on this brave, cool, calm, collected face. And really, the truth was that there were times where I would just lose it. I would boil over. I would snap. All those things, and I would make myself really, really upset. And it was becoming a more regular thing. And I think that it, again, is in line with coming into this period of time where I'm now in perimenopause and my hormones are shifting and changing, and my body is shifting and changing as it should do. And different things crop up in terms of health and well-being and what you actually need in terms of the amount of rest and the nutrition and all that stuff. And it's kind of navigating that period of my life. I'm 44 now, and I can definitely feel that there is a lot of changes going on. And of course that adds to the changes with kind of mental state and ADHD symptoms and all of that stuff as well. So putting that to one side, coming back to remembering and remembering your joy. And this trip away for the past 11 days in Pluto has really given me a chance to meditate on that, and there's been all these lovely stories that have been popping into my awareness from my childhood, and I will share some of those with you in a moment. But really remembering that singing as a child was one of the things that brought me the most joy, and taking that brave, courageous step to investing in myself and going to do the training with Singing Mamas at the end of last year was a portal. It was a doorway into a very new existence, a new way of being. And of course, I'm now working on projects which I did not see coming around the corner. And I realized over this past month that newness is really, really important to me. I am an agent of change and I love difference. And I can actually confirm that I enjoy doing laundry when I'm on the road. I had to get creative. I had to figure out how to use a new washing machine without any washing powder, figuring out, what did I have in the cupboards that would act like a good laundry detergent for my washing, and could I find something to create a washing line attaching to my caravan and tent that I had beside me, and going on my little hunt around the campsite to find the things I needed to hang out my laundry. And whoa, I was loving life. So yeah, I realized I love newness, I love change, and what I also love is feeling like I have support around me, new relationships, new buddies that I can call on, and be in community with, and talk about all of the things that really light me up. But also having time away on my own to kind of hermit away, that's really important for me as well. So I remembered my first very happy memory. I think I was possibly around 2 years old, sitting in the living room of the first house I can really remember living in. And I lived in 10 houses by the time I was 10, so I had a lot of change going on in my younger years. And my mum and I were sat in the living room, and I think my dad came in with a box, a big brown cardboard box, and we opened the lid of the cardboard box, and there was a puppy inside the cardboard box. It was a little border collie puppy, my first love. And I remember this little spider running across the bottom of the box, and that's my very first memory as a small child. And then I do kind of remember, although it's one of those memories where I feel like I've been told about it since, that I sat with my mother and we were running through names. We were running through names for the puppy. My mum, I think, told me that she ran through so many names, and I was just like, nope, 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 nope. And then she suggested the name Gypsy. And immediately I was like, yes, Gypsy. Gypsy is the only dog that I ever owned. My whole family absolutely adored our border collie Gypsy. Gypsy didn't know she was a dog. I think she very much believed she was a human, and she would go on many, many adventures. And actually I had in the past even thought about creating a series of children's books based on this dog, because she got into so many scrapes. She was a true free-spirited adventurer, and she would get out and about, shall we say, And she would come to school and play in the playground with the children at school, and everybody would be like, whose dog is this? And I'd be like, this is my dog, this is Gypsy. And I was so pleased and proud of her. And she really looked after me, and we all looked after her. And she lived many, many years. She lived until I was around about 19 years old. I can't remember exactly, but she did a really good stint for a border collie dog. And Gypsy comes to me often in my dreams, even now. And I wake up and I forget that she's not with us anymore. And the fact that I named her Gypsy, it just really, it reminded me of my nature when I was on the road in Pluto these past 11 days, just loving that lifestyle. And yeah, I think I'm a real true Gypsy at heart. And yeah, I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to talk about singing again, and I'm going to talk about festivals as well. So I first of all went to Tribal Earth in Lewes, or near Lewes in Lawton in East Sussex, a couple of weekends ago, and it's a really small, community-based, family-friendly, very spiritual, very beautiful festival where I tried laughter yoga for the first time. Oh my goodness, what brilliant fun that is. Coming from a performance art background, I was loving that experience and felt so good afterwards. Yoga just means something that you practice every day. I really liked the fact that I learned that. I didn't know that before. And yeah, if you can laugh your way into the day every day, how brilliant would that be? So, a bit of laughter yoga, 3 drumming circles. I took my drums and just had an absolute blast. Loved that. I think I want to give a shout out to the Sussex drummer. I think his name was Jamie or Jason. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I've forgotten already. But brilliant. And if I can look it up and link to his experiences in the show notes, I will definitely do that. My hands were bruised by the end of the weekend. Absolutely brilliant. Curtain with Nikki Slade. Wonderful experience. Absolutely love that. Discovering some new bands, new artists. I want to give definitely a shout out to the Undercover Hippie. Absolutely loved that set. And another shout out is to Jem and Matt from River Roots. That was the first thing I did at Tribal Earth, and it was so brilliant. They played with a drummer who I don't remember the name of, unfortunately, but also with a violinist called Vojta, who I also saw at Into the Wild as well this past weekend, and he was also on the didgeridoo, and it was so beautiful and I loved it. And there is a particular song that they started their set with called Listen, and I have since been able to chat with them at the festival and ask them for their permission to share that song in my book. So I'm super excited about that and the magic of that situation. Of course, Soulbound, Laura Julius Cohen and Helen and Lucy from Soulbound. Beautiful. Absolutely loved that. I loved singing for peace with you guys. Then we moved on to a campsite in Battle. I picked up my 2 girls from their grandparents' house and we spent a few days traveling around, was thinking that I'd be able to work and record this podcast whilst I was away, but I think the universe had other ideas. I had absolutely little to none signal whilst I was away. My service provider doesn't seem to cover East Sussex, and so whilst I did manage to get a newsletter out, that was about all I managed, and I climbed 3 grassy verges and actually had to leave the campsite and drive up a big hill in order to get signal to send that email. So I kind of gave up after that, and having travelled home yesterday and feeling very, very tired, I decided that Tuesday would be the day. So here I am. So where was I? Back on track. So easy to go off on a tangent and to get distracted in my mind. I'm remembering my first festival experience back in the year 2000. Wow, that was a long time ago now, right? And I went to Glastonbury with my friends from university. It was crazy. It was the year before they put the big fence up around the site, so that people couldn't just storm in through the fence. There was a lot of people storming in through the fence, including us. It felt like I spent the whole weekend in a human traffic jam. Getting from one place to another was just crazy. It was just too many people there, too many people for it to be safe, hence the big fence to stop people from storming in without paying for a ticket. And so it was my first and last Glastonbury experience. Who knows, I may go again in the future. But compared to the festivals and the amount of festivals that are now hosted around the country that we get to enjoy, many community-based, many conscious, many environmentally friendly, it is just amazing how brilliant these festivals have become. I really hope that they get lots of support in the future, and I hope to go and facilitate both my moon meditations at the festivals. I'm putting that very clearly as an intention for next year. I did one at Cotswold Fest this year and it was amazing, and they've asked me back for next year, and I've got a couple of other festivals lined up as well, whether I'll be singing with Singing Mamas or doing my moon meditations, hopefully a bit of both next summer. It'd be really, really great to mix it up. I love that at so many festivals now we get to really go on these spiritual explorations for ourselves. Another thing that I did at Tribal Earth was go on a shamanic journey. Lots of information was downloaded in that moment about my book, which was wonderful. I had a great day with Nicola Humber from the Unbound Press back in the middle of August, where I really got to think and work on the structure of my book, my Dandelion story, which I am going to be quietly working away at over the next 6 months or so, and hoping to have that ready for release by next summer, ready for publishing and being out by next summer. So that's really exciting. Yeah, so there's lots going on, and there's always lots going on in my world. It's part of my ADHD, it's part of my Manny Gen personality type. That's manifesting generator for those of you that aren't into human design. I also am spending a lot more time studying astrology and learning about my astrology. Part of what the astrology is telling me about myself is that this spiritual journey is a really, really important part of my being. So I'm really excited to share more about that with you as time goes on. I've remembered also that astrology was something that during my teenage years I was hugely interested in. My mum had this book called Mystic Meg. Not the Mystic Meg that you used to find in the kind of trashy Sun newspaper, in the columns of the Sun newspaper. It was a book that was all about the zodiac signs and about all of the relationships that you can have with different members of your family and with lovers. And I was just so into this book. I kept it for years and years and years, and I would refer back to it. And it really was a major interest of mine during my teenage years and into my 20s. And I feel really connected coming back to astrology now and going in deeper into that knowledge. But if you want to have a little think about remembering your joy and remembering what your inner child really wants to create, have a listen to the latest moon meditation. It's during the time of the Aquarius full moon, which we had back on the 19th of August. And you can do this meditation at any time throughout the year. It's going to hopefully be really valuable for you to remember your joys, but also to value yourself enough to remember your joys so that you can take action and move yourself into that creative expression for yourself, because that's what we really are here to do as human beings, is to be the creators. And please also remember to shine. So remembering to value myself, rediscovering my voice, and remembering to shine my light into the world and being open to receive as well. There's so much power in sharing our stories with each other. Hopefully next time I will have another wonderful lady here on the podcast to share a story with you. Until next time, sending so much love. When we work together in collaboration with each other, helping other women to find their voices and share their stories, it gives permission for everybody else to rise up and do the same. So until next time, sending so much love.
Dandelion, you're a joy to my eyes. Dandelion, you're a joy to my eyes. Oh, your yellow and gold flies through the breeze. Far and wide you spread your seed.
I want to give a big, heartfelt thank you to Laura Julius Cohen for donating so kindly her beautiful Dandelion song to this podcast. Laura is the lead singer-songwriter of Soulbound. Go check them out. I've put links to their socials in the show notes. Laura also loves dandelions, and she loves how far their seeds can travel, just like songs and stories. Again, I'd just like to mention that I really love it when you share, rate and review on whichever podcast station you prefer to listen to. Thank you.